may or may not have been drunk. They hit another car. Yee.
I truly believe he's just doing this to try to get me in trouble because he's upset with me.
All right, I can tell that you're not very remorseful, you dope. He didn't try to get you in trouble. They reached out to him and he was uncooperative with them. You crashed your car with a .173 blood alcohol. You rear-ended another car and almost killed 2 people.
Sir,
you rolled your car over multiple times with a couple people in there.
Today we're in Judge Middleton's courtroom. The defendant is a 22-year-old who is driving extremely drunk. His blood alcohol level was very high. He crashed into another car, flipped his own car several times, and hurt one of his passengers. The fact that no one died is honestly shocking. This crash could have easily killed multiple people. Now he's standing in front of a judge who takes reckless behavior very seriously. The judge already looks disappointed, and the defendant finally seems to realize how serious this situation is. The question is, did this crash change him? Or is this just another bad choice in a long list?
You pled to a charge of operating while intoxicated.
Yes.
This may be the worst case of the day. Daniel Frazina has prepared the screening report, and I feel like I got a complete disconnect. There's a terrible accident where somebody has debilitating lifetime injuries, and I have a recommendation of 1 day jail credit 1 day. I feel like I fell off a cliff or something. Mr. Felt, what would you like me to know?
Judge, actually, I had a question, if I may. Was there somebody injured in the other vehicle? Is that who you're referring to?
The police report, supplemental report, says that someone in his vehicle.
Right.
Right, and he was...
Yeah, hang on.
Has an extensive history of head injuries, nerve pain, and he was suffering from a pre-existing condition, and all of which have been getting worse since the crash. So that was a person in his vehicle. The people in the other vehicle weren't doing too great either. This car flipped over. There were 3 people in it, may or may not have been drunk. They hit another car. Yee.
Judge, that helped me. Thank you. Well, what I was going to say was this. Mason was in Kalamazoo at a Halloween party, was not planning on driving home that night, was going to stay. He gave a couple other people a ride up there. While they were up there, he drank, and he drank more than he should have, at least certainly to drive a vehicle. But the drinking was up there. One of his occupants, incidentally the one you referenced, wanted to go home, change his mind, their mind, and wanted to go home, insisted on a ride home. So Mason was stuck in that regard, driving when he never intended to. Now, be that as it may, it's another example of poor decisions and judgments when you've been drinking. But nonetheless, the accident, now, my understanding of what happened in the accident was, correctly stated, his vehicle went off the road, flipped, etc. But he says none of the 3 of us got injured. He says the one occupant did ask to be examined. So he was ambulanced, I think, to 3 Rivers, but only treated and released. If there's more injuries involved than that, he's never been notified by any insurance company or attorney representing an injured party. So we simply present to you, we're not aware of anybody seriously injured. We are aware that the occupant, his occupant, asked for an ambulance ride to the hospital, was treated and released, and we understood that was the end of that. Whether that enlightens you or adds more questions. But what I would say is this: when you mentioned one other case a while ago being more serious, his came to mind. I talked to him a little bit about it. When I just heard this prior case, I assume that's the one you were referencing, where there's a bad accident and bad injuries and etc. All I can say is in his case, he's not aware of any injuries other than the one occupant ambulanced and treated and released. Now, again, be that as it may, I would point out maybe the redeeming factors here is He did not flee and elude the police. He didn't get into a resisting
Well,
arrest, et cetera.
that's true.
So there are some redeeming factors here. I submit to you, we only know this to be an accident because of alcohol, alcohol-related accident. And are not aware of.
Drunk driving cases are hard to watch because they are completely preventable. There are so many safer options: Uber, Lyft, calling a friend, staying over, but people still choose to drive drunk. Young drivers often think nothing bad will happen to them, until it does. This happens all the time after parties, college nights, holidays, just because someone didn't want to pay for a ride. The lawyer saying he didn't plan on driving drunk doesn't change anything. No one plans it, but they still make the choice. He chose to drive while drunk and put his friends in danger. Now he's in court because of that choice. Someone got hurt, and that makes this case much more serious. Even though no one died, this was very close to becoming a fatal crash. That's why the judge is about to hand down serious consequences.
Treat and release.
All right, well, this happened a year ago, Halloween of 2024.
Right.
The affidavit has the wrong date in it. I think this has Miss Camfield's fingerprints on it because she got here and somebody asked the state police to go back and better interview the person in the vehicle. What the police report said, I spoke to Kirsten. Well, Miss Camfield wasn't here yet in February of 25. He went to the hospital to have his head checked. He stated no head scan was done, but his blood sugar was checked. He has an extensive history with head injuries, nerve pain stemming from his neck to his arm. He advised the issue with his neck has gotten worse. And bear in mind, this was February after the October accident. And he now has trouble rotating his head due to his neck pain. He has suffered from pre-existing conditions such as short-term memory loss, chronic headaches, light sensitivity, all of which has gotten worse since getting in the crash. As far as I'm concerned, that's operating while intoxicated, causing a serious or debilitating injury. But it also looks like they weren't particularly cooperative. I don't know that they ever got that person's medical records. So when it was authorized, finally, like in June of this year, all that was authorized was high blood alcohol level and operating while intoxicated. There was no felony charge of operating while intoxicated with a serious injury. So this is what we got. But the police report, when they went back and re-interviewed the victim, and this has been a sore point of mine for some time. It's better now once Ms. Davis came, but they would have a bad accident and then they would never, passenger was removed by ambulance and they never checked to see what happened to the person. Then you find out they've got terrible debilitating injuries, and this happened multiple times in the last several years. So I didn't know if that's what this was. So it happened in October. They asked for further investigation. That has Ms. Davis's fingerprints on it. She took office in December, and this would have been a case that she would have inherited from the previous administration. So she or somebody, Mr. Gabry or her, asked the police to do some more investigation, which they did. Then several months later, Ms. Camfield authorized this. It also appears that that witness and his parents were not particularly cooperative with the prosecutor. But it is a situation where he crashed into somebody else's car, rolled his car over with 2 people in it, and could have killed 5 people. And his blood alcohol was over the high limit for high blood alcohol level. He also has some prior criminal history, and he's only 22 years old. So with that, maybe we'll get enlightened more from the prosecutor. But reading the police report, this looked like a 5-year felony. instead of a 93-day misdemeanor, but the prosecutor has the discretion to
5 people almost lost their lives because one person decided to drive drunk. One small decision nearly wiped out everyone in the car. The judge has no patience for behavior like this. The injured passenger is dealing with serious problems, neck pain, nerve damage, memory issues, and it's getting worse. This isn't a small injury. It affects his daily life and could last for years. What's shocking is that the defendant avoided a felony charge. Most people wouldn't. And at only 22 years old, this case will follow him for a long time: jobs, loans, housing, everything. In court, the defense claims the defendant didn't know about serious injuries. The prosecutor explains that new reports showed the injuries were worse than first believed and that jail time is appropriate. When the defendant speaks, instead of fully accepting responsibility, he says he still drinks sometimes and blames the injured passenger. That completely backfires. The judge makes it clear this defendant showed very little remorse. He drove drunk, crashed, flipped his car, and nearly killed people. In the end, the judge orders jail time on weekends, probation, alcohol testing, fines, and a suspended driver's license. The judge tells him directly, he got lucky. This could have been much worse. 10 days in jail is light compared to what almost happened. The real hope is that this finally wakes him up before someone actually dies.